So as we're going down in Ismail, we've done modules, we've done consumers, we've done the breakdown and the stats on the ship. Now we have Commander Mikhail Hedrov on here, who's a level 13. Now, this is where you have to start looking at this game as if it is an RPG, because it basically is. I could have swore when I first started streaming, and I will put that in there, they would say in one of the tags that it was an RPG. I mean, you know, you build characters in RPG the same you would build out ships in World of Warships Legends. And that in RPGs, you can do a tank build, somebody who you put a lot of armor on them, but all that armor would limit their mobility, limit their attacks, but it doesn't matter. He's the one that absorbs all the damage so that other people can output damage and don't have to worry about getting damaged. It's kind of like the same thing with the battleships here. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to pick commanders that complement the ship. It can enhance the ship. If you pick the wrong commander, it can be a detriment to the ship. And in that case, not only can the ships be modified, but the commanders can be modified even more. And what you get is character builds, but these are ships, not RPG characters, right? Wink, wink. So while we're out there, everybody is dealing with endless combinations of ships and captains or commanders. Some people call it secondary builds. Some people might call it a defensive build. Some people might have a mobility build, a fire build, an AP build, anything you want to call it. All right. So since we have to choose the nation's commander with the nation's ship, then we have to go with one of these guys. Okay. And as you can see, they have these icons in their upper right hand corner, which tells them they are more suitable for these ships. You can use any captain for any ship that you want, but the icon denotes that they have more skills for that particular ship type or class. We've gone with Mikhail for specific reasons. Right here you can see a quick summary of his skills. Right under his main trait is to increase the main battery traverse speed of your battleship. Now, I don't know if anybody has ever grinded Russian battleships or any other ships in general, but the traversal speed of their turrets is atrocious. As you can see right now, or in the previous videos, it takes about 30 seconds for this thing to go from port to starboard. That's ridiculous. And it's even worse if you don't put some modifications on there, either on the ship or the commander. Right now we have not one for the nuisance. Right here, we don't know what they mean, but to see it, we're gonna press X and go to the commander profile. If you wanna hold X, you can filter by what ship type you want. Of course, there's no Russian aircraft carriers yet, but it's there just in case we get. So we just want to do battleship. And the one with no stripe, I'm sorry, the one with no stripe means that they can be battleship or they can be anybody. They have a wide range of skills that can pertain to battleships, cruisers, or perhaps even destroyers. All right, so let's check out Mikhail. Now, this is what I've done so far in grinding. Well, I'm right in the middle of grinding the Russian battleship line. So, as soon as I saw the turret traversal, I picked Mikhail. All right. So rank 1, these ranks right here, all the way up to 6 or 7, you can use commander points. After that, you have to use insignias, and after that, you have to use personal commendations to upgrade the legendary status. All right. So let's go over some of these skills here. You have a choice of 3 skills per role here, and the circle next to it tells you what level you're at, what mastery. So we've gone past this, and once you go down further, you can see the mastery increase on each one. So if we went to 14, look at the third row, the mastery goes up a little bit to 3. The base trait goes up just a little bit. And I guess when you finish ranking up them to the fullest, the base trait will be at its fullest. So row 1, we have a choice of 3 skills. 1, we have no fly zone. Improve power and range for AA suites of all ship types. So that means this would give us 10% average damage of our AA guns, and then increase the firing range. All right. I don't really have a problem with AA so far in this ship. So I'm not going to waste the skill. All right. Brawler. This is a survivability skill. It increases torpedo detection capabilities and reduces reload time of your battleship's main battery at the cost of lowering its maximum firing range. So it increases torpedo detectability range, which I don't really have a problem with. And it takes about 10% of the reload time off. Now, that can be quite useful. Right now, we're at like 35 seconds. So it'll take it down to maybe like, I don't know, 32 or so. I don't know. I'm not doing the math, okay? But it will make it better. It will decrease it. But this is at the detriment of my range. And you know I'm a range guy. So I like to touch people who can't touch me, or have that option to shoot people further out. Okay? But if you are working with a ship that's not that accurate, you're really not concerned with range, are you? It doesn't matter if you're throwing a fistful of rocks at somebody 15 kilometers away. It's a good chance not all of your shells will hit, right? So that's why that's there. And the last one, not one for the nuisance. Reduce the risk of catching fire or flooding. Risk of catching fire, -8%. Risk of flooding, -8%. Now, the reason why I chose this, we only have 4 damage con consumable. So catching fire, I need to do that a lot less. Getting floods, I need to do that a lot less. Because as soon as I get that, I have to burn one of my 4 damage con situation or consumable. Okay. So of course, in the way that people like to fire HE spam in this game, this is absolutely necessary these days. Okay. Sometimes I want to laugh because when this is working for me, HE spammers will sit up there and shoot me all day trying to catch me on fire, not doing that much damage, because really the damage in HE is when you catch somebody on fire, when you set somebody on fire. That's the whole gist of it, you know. So if you take that away from them, then they're basically wasting their time. They're telegraphing their presence and where they are at the same time. They're not doing that much damage. But you're not gonna stop from getting on fire. You're just not. This is just gonna lessen the chances. So yeah, I would rather this happen, me lessen the chance of catching fire, than anything in this row. All right. Next row, we have crisscross. It increases the main battery traverse speed. Once again, one of the big weaknesses of Russian ships is the turret speed. And so not only do we have the base trait giving us, taking away or giving us 7 seconds worth of 0.7 seconds worth of speed. Now we come down here and we get another plus maybe 1 second. And when we get to legendary rank 2, we get into actual seconds, which is 3.2. All right. And this is where you rank up legendary. So if I spent 2 of these commendations, these global ones, the yellow ones are for this specific commander that you earn from this specific, and you can only spend it on him, or you can use the ones that you get from duplicate commanders, which are universal. You can use them on any commander. All right. That's something I might have to look at. Okay. So we're adding this on top of the base trait. All right. So here's Porcupine. It's basically a boost for the secondary. If you're doing a secondary build, you would most likely choose this right here. All right, the third roll down here. And you can see when we get down to the rank 2, things get better. Okay, and it's not always legendary. It's just this one that will rank up if we do legendary. This one down here is like it will upgrade when we get to level 14. Damage control party duration. Now this role was a very, very hard choice for me. And this is just some ways that you can start thinking about doing things when you're doing your builds. All right, this is survivability. And I chose increase the duration of damage control party and receive an extra consumable charge, the collective labor. It has given me 10% bonus on how long the damage control party duration. Right now, it's at 11 seconds. So during you being on fire, when you do the damage control party, they're working, and it's working for 11 seconds on this particular ship. Now, when we go to upgrade 14, it'll work for maybe 12, 13 seconds. While your damage control party is active, no one can set you on fire or give you a flood. So naturally, you want this period of time to last a lot longer. Why? Because the damage control party has a reload time. And let's check it out. All right. Damage control party, the consumable duration. So for 11 seconds, he hits me with a fire, hits me with 2 fires. I get hit with a torpedo and I'm flooding. So I hit the damage consumer. I stop the flooding, I stop the fire. Now, any other torpedo that comes in, any other fire salvo comes in for 11 seconds, I have immunity. But after this 11 seconds is gone, the damage consumable has to reload. The reload time is 40 seconds. So I have 40 seconds until I'm vulnerable to fire and flood. Before I can't stop it. If it happens, I can't stop it. Okay. So if I get a fire or flood during these 40 seconds, I can't use the damage control party again until 40 seconds. So if you have one fire going and you pop the damage control party and that 11 seconds is up, then you see torpedoes coming in, you're a dead guy because you're not going to be able to stop those floods. And if you hit your damage control party and you only got one fire and they're still shooting fire at you, they're going to hit you after that consumable is up and you're going to have a 40-second fire. And with this particular ship, we only have 4 damage control parties. So there has to be a scheme, some type of strategy that I have to develop to keep the damage under control. And we're going to see all of this in action when we get to the gameplay. Okay. So I just wanted to explain that. Same thing with the repair party. Okay. There's a reload time. All right. So you have to, there's a strategy with the repair party as well. And any consumable. So I chose that. What did I choose that over? I chose that over firefighter. And this decreases the chance of my ship catching fire and reduce the maximum number of fires to 3 at the same time. Reduce the reload of the damage control party and its duration. All right. So that means if we're reducing the duration of the damage control party by 40%, that means it's only going to last for like 5 to 6 seconds. Right now, we're doing 11 seconds. We don't want it to go down to 5 seconds because after that, we're vulnerable. Now you can reduce the reload time right now. What was it, 40 seconds? Okay, you're gonna reduce it down to 36 seconds. So instead of being vulnerable for 40 seconds, now it's just it's 4 seconds. Okay, and the risk of catching fire is a good thing. Okay, but that 6 seconds damage control party, it's a decision you have to make. Now with this game, I'm gonna tell you the truth. You can probably get this risk of catching fire up to like 50%. You're still gonna get on fire. So you have to make a choice on managing this. I don't trust single digit percentages in this game. It's just The difference is kind of negligible. You know, it's like I have it on. We can put all this damage control, wrist fire stuff on, and I feel like I'm still getting caught on fire or set on fire. The same, if not more sometimes, because it all comes down to the percentages. So volunteer, all right? One thing I forgot to mention about the collective labor is that it gives us one more damage control charge. So initially the ship only had 3. So we only have 4 because we have this skill selected right now. All right, volunteer. Decrease the reload time of damage control party and receive extra consumable charges at the cost of lower duration. All right. This gives us 6% on damage control reload time. Minus 6%. So we're talking about 36 seconds instead of 40. Okay. They're going to give us another charge, which will be the same as it'll be 4, just like the other one. And it takes the duration down from 11 to 5.5, which is horrid. Okay, so we get 4 charges. Reload time is taken down by -6. This one did it by -8. So, and it gives us another charge. Why on earth would I use this? Well, if we look at upgrade rank 14, which is the next rank, so I can take this guy to rank 14 if I want to. It only costs 1 insignia. If you look down at the lower right-hand corner, I have 9 of them. And I probably will be working on this guy, seeing as though I'm trying to collect the rest of the Russian battleships. But at rank 14, the reload time is taken down by another 2%, and we get 2 damage control charges. So we'll have 5. But the duration will only go down. Instead of being 5 seconds, it'll be almost 6 seconds. So there's a trick, there's a strategy. There's no right answer here. It's what you prefer, what you think most applies to the battles. When you get your ship, take her out butt naked and see what I need a longer control party duration, or do I need more charges? Do I need to take a chance on getting -12% at rank 14 of getting set on fire and have a 2-second duration? That's up to you. These are very hard choices. And I might have to revisit this when I rank him up to level 14. All right. There's just ways to think. So for right now at 13, I'm taking the extra charge and the extra duration. It's working pretty good. I haven't gotten to the point yet, and I haven't played a lot of battles in the Ismail, but I haven't gotten to the point where I just ran out of charges. And I might get to that point. And at that point, I might switch over to here, and I need 5 instead of 4, That is the type of thinking that you need to think about when you're coming in and you're choosing these skills. All right. In the 4th column right here, reaching out, XXL. Increase range of main battery. Of course, I'm a range junkie, so of course I picked this over that. But look what I had to choose over. Master Mechanic, increase the amount of HP restored by the repair party consumable while reducing its reload time and adding extra charges. Wow. Here's a chance to get more charges. The reload time is down 6%. The amount of HP is boosted by 6%, which isn't much, but it gets better at rank 16. And you get 2 repair party charges. So why would I choose range over this? This has a repair party. This affects the repair party consumable, and it basically is for survivability or defensive build. If I find that I'm getting beat up a lot and I'm running out of damage con consumables, then I might consider this. But at this point, I don't know. I haven't played the ship enough to realize it. Would not choose properly meticulous over any of these because this is not a secondary build. Okay. Maybe if we get a ship that does secondary stuff a little bit better, we might decide to change over. But I don't know too much about Russian battleships at this point. But I know if I notice that, I can come in here and do that. And this is not the only Russian battleship commander. I said, let's look at the other guy and see what he has and why I chose this guy over him. I know why I chose him, because Mikhail has that turret traversal thing, and that was my main issue with him. All right, his base trait is it increases the battleship's HE shell damage. Yeah, I'm not using HE with battleships that much. HE is like a secondary something that I'm thinking about. Like if he's angled, I keep overpinning him, or that's the only reason I might switch to HE for a couple of salvos. If I don't set them on fire, then I'm switching back to AP. This base trait wasn't too valuable to me, but let's look at his skills. Might be big time valuable. Okay. You got not the one for nuisance. All right. Reduce the risk of catching fire. But look at this. Flammable cannoneer. This increases the main battery range and shell grouping for your battleships, but it increases the chances of catching fire for any ship type. Now, me being a range junkie, used to go with this on my other battleship builds, but then when the HE spamming got out of control, I had to take it off. I had to take some range off of my battleships in order to stop getting set on fire so much. Crazy. And of course, right here we have the AA boost. Here's increase the main battery traverse speed and AP shell damage of your battleship at the cost of reduced maximum speed. Okay, I'm not a big fan of speedy battleships. In my opinion, they belong in the back of cruisers and destroyers. They should be up front. The battleship should be bringing up the rear, so speed is not a gigantic thing. Only thing you need speed with a battleship, in my opinion, is when you have to traverse across the board at the end of the map looking for the last guy, or you're trying to dodge torpedoes. And if you're trying to dodge torpedoes, that means the two guys in front of you, the cruiser scrub and the DD scrub, they're not on their job. Okay, so usually I just try to have my positioning behind them somewhere. So I might consider this. All right, and then you got the plain old increased main battery traverse speed. All right, and they know they had to put this on there because they know that it's ridiculous. Here we have volunteer. Went over that. Here's a good one. Marksmanship. Increase the main battery shell grouping for any ship type, but reduce their rudder shift speed. Right? Okay. Yeah, rudder shift speed is not something that you want to mess with on battleships. It's already slow. This just means that you're going to have some very accurate guns because it takes down the dispersion of the main battery and it gets good at Mastery 4. But turning that brick around is rudder speed on it. Yeah, don't mess with it. Of course, we already went over this, and these are basically the same down here. So his base trait basically turned me off from him. And let's go back to Mikhail. Mikhail on the Ishmael. All right. So I went with range junkie. But if I start getting beat up a lot and I need to repair a lot, then I'm probably gonna come back here and get these extra repair party charges. All right. Then we get down here to the legendary stuff. All right. And these have like dual purposes. They have a passive effect and they have a special effect. All right. All right. Will to rebuild increases HP regeneration rate when repair party is active. All right. So when you do the repair party, it gives you 27% more HP, and that will be on top of this plus 6% if we had that selected. All right, and it also increases the rate of repair per second, because if I am right now, it is plus 329. So if we go back and check, that's because of this right here is on. If we took it off, it would be different. I don't want to mess with it though. All right. And also, Will to Rebuild gives you 20% regeneration when you're next to an allied ship. Right now, we're at Mastery 1, but in the next one, it's going to increase to 1.5, so you don't have to be right next to them. And I'm guessing with Mastery 4, it's going to give me a lot more space, because when you're at the end of the round, this Will to Rebuild can bring you through. Okay, there's been times when I've been out of damage con, out of repair party, and on fire, about to burn out. Got next to someone with Will to Rebuild, and the generation outlasted the fire. And then after that gave me 20%, which is not a lot. It's not a lot. It gave me 20% more HP when it was done. So there's been times when I was with a buddy, shout out to Condemned Froggy, and we were like basically side by side, and I had this 20% and they were just laying into me, and I was taking the damage and getting it back from Will to Rebuild because we were side by side, and we went and we hunted down one of the last ships and won the match. It's not always going to work like that, but it's just good to have. When it comes to being versus running with scissors, increase the main battery traverse speed for your battleships and enhance rudder shift speed for any ship type, but you have to be in the presence of an enemy ship. And 3 kilometers, you don't want this stuff to be kicking in like that at 3 kilometers. I mean, it's good, but its passive effect has some negative effects here. As we can see, dispersion, you might be closer, but the dispersion is kind of screwy. And it's only giving you 1 second. 1 second is a lot in legendary rank 2. When it comes to these things, every little second helps when you have slow traversal. All right, but I'd rather have that HP back than become a juggernaut when I'm in 3 kilometers of a ship, man. And fight fire with fire, which is basically like new to me, but it removes the damage over time effects from your ship whenever there are 3 concurrent fires, and it reduces fire damage. And it can only be triggered if your damage party control is on cooldown or fully depleted. So there is no secondary to this. If you get fire damage on your ship, it reduces it by 5%. And the damage over time means that when you burn with fire, you leave the light damage, which is the green damage, not the yellow damage, on your HP. And that is damage that you can recover with a repair party. So this might be something that you might consider, seeing as though the repair party, the damage con party scheme has to be really legit when they're limited here. So the trick to the Ismail is to figure out a good way to mitigate damage and deter traversal. All right. When you get to a certain level, I believe it's 14 or something like that. I'm not sure. You get a chance to have inspirations. And what these are captains from other nations, and you get to have their base trait on your ship. Now, this depends on their mastery of that trait. So we have Andrew Cunningham right here. And Andrew is up to mastery 18 out of 20 with his shell grouping. So that gives me about 4.5 extra accuracy. So this thing is punching like a fist. Okay? Or it helps me punch as a fist. So these numbers go on top of the numbers that I already have. Okay? And then of course we have Robert Jujard at his 14 out of 20 mastery of his borer, not boner, borer trait, which is, it probably was boner at some point in time, and he was like, nah, I can't do that. Borer, yeah, that's better. Anyway, battleship AP shells penetrate, multiply, penetration, multiplier. So this was an experiment that I was doing I'm still not ready to say if it's better or not. Comment in the comment section if you know a little bit more. What was happening is that my AP shells were overpinning every damn thing. And I had another captain inspiration on here, or on these other builds that I had, that increased AP damage. But still, I was using AP and it was just over penetrating every damn thing. So what I was guessing this did was enhance the penetration of the AP shells, which means that it will give me less penetrations. And if it doesn't do that, then at least the pins that I do get, it multiplies. So if I'm shooting AP at 10,000.5 and I used to get like 1 pin and 6 overpins, I'm hopefully getting 3 pins or 5 pins and 6 pins. I'm not prepared at this moment of this recording to say that it's working, but I'm also not prepared to say that it's not working. So I've been noticing more citadels, and I've been using Jujard on all my battleship builds, and especially the Iowa, and it's almost every time. But in the Iowa, it was either overpins or citadels. Now I'm noticing that I'm getting either citadels or major damage. So could be the placebo effect, could be good RNGesus looking after me. You know, I don't know. It's new. And when I say new, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks for me. And it's kind of working. But as you can see, you can go anywhere and get anything. All right. Put this dude on here, Palau de Revel, and we can quicken the reload of the guns if we want to. His mastery is up. Okay. We can reduce the flooding duration. We can do anything. The choices, the limitations are ridiculous. What did I do? I don't know what I did. Hope I didn't do anything. All right, so pretty soon, I don't know. Since I'm focusing on Russian battleships right now, I might just bring him to 14, but I have to look around at my other captains because these insignias are not easy to come by. All right, might get 1 a month or something like that, you know, and that's not doing everything. That's just moderately playing. Okay, and that is my build going into. I'm pretty sure there are infinite combinations of better builds, but like I said, I'm new to this ship, and this is what's working for me right now. And when we go into the gameplay, then we can basically see how everything is coming together. All right, cool.